Creating impactful and lasting change is a mission, a vision, and a movement. Welcome to Nonprofit Voices of Impact, the show that will delve into the heart of the nonprofit world, showcasing the leaders and change makers who are driving meaningful transformation in our community. Through engaging interviews, real-life success stories, and valuable insights, this podcast highlights the passion, innovation, and dedication that fuels nonprofits across Westchester County. Whether you're a nonprofit leader or advocate, Nonprofit Voices of Impact empowers you with the knowledge and inspiration to make a powerful difference. I'm your host, Dr. Marsha Gordon, President and CEO of the Business Council of Westchester, and I'm joined by my co-host, Linda Tyler, Vice President of Membership and Programs, Business Council of Westchester.
The BCW nonprofit Voices of Impact is proudly sponsored by New York Presbyterian and Beacon Bank, formerly PCSB Bank. Thank you for your support. Take your organization far with the power of local banking. Beacon Bank, formerly known as PCSB Bank, has an array of services, customized solutions, and local financing decisions that mean you have a powerful commercial bank nearby when you need them. Voted Best in Business Banking for 2 years in a row by 914 Inc., Beacon Bank's commitment to serving customers, consumers, businesses, and nonprofits in the community is unparalleled. Stop by one of their 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester: New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite.
On today's episode, we're highlighting 2 organizations that are transforming lives and bringing hope, support, and opportunity to individuals and families across Westchester County and the surrounding areas. Make-A-Wish Hudson Valley and Vision Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired are here with us today. Welcome. So glad to see you both, Molly and Abraham. And I'm also so proud to share that the Business Council of Westchester has welcomed over 155 current non-for-profits within our community. It's a vibrant and important piece of the Westchester business world. Through life-changing wishes and comprehensive services for individuals with vision loss, both organizations are making a profound impact, uplifting communities, empowering individuals, and creating meaningful connections throughout Westchester. Abraham and Molly, thank you both for sharing your insights today, your experiences, and your wisdoms. To start, let's talk about yourselves and the missions of your organizations. Molly, why don't we start with you?
Great. Well, it's lovely to be here. I'm Molly Egan. I am the fairly new CEO at Vision Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired that's celebrating 100 years this year. I've had 30 years of experience in national and local nonprofits, the Red Cross after 9/11, 12 years at National Planned Parenthood. I've worked at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital and recently at the New York Foundling before coming to Visions. And the mission of the organization is really to support people across the spectrum of vision loss in achieving all of their goals from cradle to grave.
And so, and we'll talk more about it later, but really the loss of vision to any degree is definitely a very big change in a person's life. And Visions is here to really help people create as normal a life as possible. Is that fair to say? I love the many programs that you offer.
It's a beautiful way to say it. It really is. It's a very misunderstood area of service. Even having experience in nonprofit, I have been learning so much about the services. People have an idea that somehow you wake up one morning and somebody's turned off the lights of your vision. And really, for most individuals, it's a spectrum of vision loss. And, that can affect children, that can affect folks that are mid-career losing vision, who are trying to figure out if they need to change careers. And for so many people, it happens later in life. So it's not really a matter of when, if we're going to lose vision. For most of us, it's a matter of when. And there's so many things that can be done to enable independence at home and mobility as well.
And we'll talk more about that. And it's so good to know for people out there, either for themselves or their loved ones, that there are some really great resources available.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about Make-A-Wish and the great work that you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. On behalf of all of us at Make-A-Wish Hudson Valley, we're just thankful to be in a position now to be able to continue to spread our awareness around what our mission is, which is we create life-changing wishes for children with critical illnesses, which is a wide spectrum as far as what type of conditions would qualify for a wish. But one of the things we've noticed is that the power of a wish does give kids the strength and the ability to overcome any health challenges that they're having. At the moment of when they're referred to us, we meet with them and we have an amazing time figuring out what their wish is going to be, which I'm looking forward to sharing a bit more about that. But yeah, I've been with Make-A-Wish for close to 20 years now, originally serving as a volunteer manager and then really helping with recruitment and training of our volunteers. And then that transitioned about 10 years ago to our marketing side, which I was doing a lot of it already prior, because being at the time the youngest person on staff as a nonprofit, you kind of do pick up your sleeves and do whatever needs to get done to make things happen. So I happen to be the one that knew how to code for our website and was the beginning of our social media presence. So that's kind of how it started. But now we're just looking forward to continue to spread awareness around our mission and the important work that we're doing here in the community.
And we'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute as well. You're both celebrating big anniversaries, 100 years and 40 years.
Correct.
So how many wishes has Make-A-Wish granted in 40 years? That's probably a tough question. We're talking thousands, right?
Thousands, absolutely, yeah.
Wow.
So since 1986, we have granted over 3,500 wishes in the Hudson Valley region. So that covers 8 counties of New York State. Everything from Westchester County, which we're in right now, but it goes up north to Rockland, Sullivan, Ulster, Putnam, Delaware, Dutchess, and so we have a huge area that we're covering.
And we're going to talk more about some of those wishes, because some are really creative and unconventional, and some are just wonderful in terms of their traditional wishes that any kid might want to do, and you help make that happen. Let's circle back, Molly. Visions, what brought you, because you both, you clearly, I can hear it in your voices, the real meaning you find behind your work, the real power of that. What brought you to Visions and to this organization and the work that you're doing? How did you get there?
Yeah, I would say 2 things. First and foremost, I wasn't looking to leave where I was, and when a recruitment firm came, I have macular degeneration myself, early onset, and for those of you who don't know, you gradually lose your central vision. So all of a sudden, a life spent in doing purpose-driven work was turned inward, personal, the opportunity to work in a nonprofit that had such a personal connection. I think the other thing that brought me there is so many of the nonprofits I work with have a touch point with an individual once. And Visions, as I mentioned, has worked with children to young adults, older adults, and has worked with families sometimes over several generations. So it felt like a very meaningful place to be.
It's interesting when you say generations, because my family too, we spoke earlier, has been impacted by vision loss. Both of my parents were diagnosed with macular degeneration, and it was a change in their lives for sure. What do you mean by intergenerational when you talk about that?
Yeah,
I think that's really an interesting point.
Yeah, a third of Vision staff themselves are blind and visually impaired, and a number of folks came to our a recreation and rehabilitation camp that's located in Rockland County. It's a beautiful 37-acre campus that does work with families over the summer. And so you have folks that have themselves been there as children who are now staff. One woman, Kathleen, had her daughter as attended camp and was a camp counselor this past summer. So, and one of the individuals on our board is a fourth generation committed supporter of Vision. So you have a lot of stories of people just involved with us over generations.
I love that the meaning is there and the work continues to be done, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Abraham, you're celebrating 40 years, Make-A-Wish Foundation. Let's talk a little bit about your initiatives and your plans, what the organization is thinking forward ahead, and also about some of these really incredible wishes that children are thinking about that are important to them.
Our 40th anniversary year is really, really important. One is because we have a huge legacy of wishes, as I mentioned before, with 3,500 plus wishes that we've granted. But we have many signature events that we are hosting this year. And we really started celebrating not just this week or last week. We've been celebrating since September, which is the beginning of our fiscal year. So we've been slowly kind of bringing things out little by little. But upcoming, just next week, we're going to have our Wish Ball, which is our signature black tie dinner event. We have over 20 kids, alumni, that are going to be coming back and being a part of our program. We are still looking for journal ads. We are still looking for sponsors up until a few days before the event. So we have that coming up right away. Additionally, during the month of April, it is World Wish Month for us, which is a global celebration of our mission. Back on April 29th, 1980 was when the first wish was granted for a child named Chris Gracious over in Phoenix, Arizona. And he had an amazing day where he was able to live out his dream of being a cop for a day. So he was handing out parking tickets to people. He had a little Power Wheels car. He was driving around a parking lot. Really had an amazing wish, which not only impacted his mother and those early wish makers for our organization, but it created a momentum, which was, if we can create this for one child local to our area, how can we do this for more kids that are in need of this hope and joy and strength that a wish can bring? Fast forward, 6 years later, we were established over in Mount Kisco, New York, over Danny's Cheese Shop. For those that may remember that time of the early 80s, Danny's was really well known in the area, along with other local business owners. And they, along with just a few people, handful of people, got together and said, hey, if we just saw what happened in Phoenix just a few years ago, let's bring this to the Hudson Valley. Let's bring that here.
And it worked.
And it worked, and it stuck, and we're here, and we're looking forward to celebrating 40 years of wishes all year long.
And tell us, one or two just really unusual wishes that come to mind that children have, created or designed or just simply wished for.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, one wish was for a kid a few years back, maybe around 2016. It was when it was officially granted, almost 10 years ago, which is wild. His name is Tunav, and his wish was to design his own sneaker. So we paired up with with Adidas and Pencil Academy, which is a design school that artists are part of that are interested in shoe design. And so we were able to get him into this program to participate as part of his wish. He designed a sneaker, which had all these different really cool design elements to it. And it took a little, so that was the wish, was to create the sneaker. But then he kind of took it the next step. He wanted to actually produce the sneaker. So 10 years ago, during our 35th anniversary, during that year, we were celebrating all the amazing things we're doing in the community, but his wish became a reality. So we were able to produce that sneaker. He was able to then utilize it as a way to fundraise, and he sold 10 pairs of his limited edition sneaker with funds coming to Make-A-Wish as a result of that. Very unique, very out of the box type of thinking. But just last week, in comparison, we just granted a puppy wish right at our office. Super, super cute puppy. And we had a whole celebration for a wish kid. Her name was Octavia. And she had an amazing, amazing celebration with community members to be a part of it. So we run the gamut from puppies to sneakers and everything in between. We are granting wishes every single day that are making an impact for these kids that need it during a really difficult time of their lives.
And their families. It's giving them a purpose, and that's just very powerful. Well, Molly, let's talk a little bit about AI is so huge now, right? It's impacting just about every person, every business. Do you see, what do you see AI doing for those with vision impairment? Have you talked a little bit about where that's going or where it may go? That's kind of exciting to me, the possibilities.
Yes, it's interesting. I went to CSUN. It's a conference, the world's largest assistive technology conference out in Anaheim, California recently, and it's just featuring all of the ways different types of technology are benefiting the blind and visually impaired, from screen readers to meta glasses that help people do all kinds of things, including using AI on the computer in a more in a simplified way. So it's certainly of use. There are, AI has, for lack of a better word, blind spots and hallucinations where you really have to check what you're getting. But it's certainly opening up a whole new world for folks, especially the blind and visually impaired, who can, lean into screen reader capabilities so they can have full access to the information.
It is really exciting. And someone said once to me about a year ago, and it just struck me as so true, the worst day of AI is today, right? Meaning AI is just continuing to grow and unleash and create all kinds of wonderful possibilities. And I think I see that for those who are vision impaired. I think the opportunities are quite endless.
A really small example that somebody shared with me is the Meta Ray-Ban glasses that you can talk to, of course, and ask questions of. They weren't designed for the visually impaired, but a blind board member described the experience of putting on the glasses and doing something as simple as opening his refrigerator and making a sandwich and saying, show me where the mustard is, show me where the bread is, things that you and I might take,
completely for granted.
Exactly. And because that technology is in there, that individual can do lots of things at home. And we're conscious of equity issues and making sure that everybody has access to those tools to help them live their goals.
And that's so important, and we really want people to know, both organizations, you provide incredible resources for people who are in those specific points in their lives. We're going to talk a little bit more. We're going to take a break for a moment. Thank you both.
New York Presbyterian has 3 campus locations in Westchester: New York Presbyterian Westchester in Bronxville, New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital in Cortlandt Manor, and New York Presbyterian Westchester Behavioral Health in White Plains, and a new state-of-the-art facility opening in 2025 at 1111 Westchester Avenue in White Plains. Known as New York Presbyterian The One, this center of excellence will improve access to medical care by offering a wide range of adult and pediatric specialty care, all under one roof, delivered by exceptional teams led by trusted Columbia doctors. NYP The One will include centers of excellence in cardiovascular and neurosensory treatment, men's health, women's health, pediatric health, and a cancer center satellite.
You've cultivated roots in the community for your organization, and just as you've built trust with your constituents, you expect the same from your bank. With Beacon Bank, formerly known as PCSB Bank's breadth of services and customized solutions, including residential mortgages, commercial banking, and wealth management, you can put your trust in a local banking partner that understands your unique needs and puts customers first. Stop by one of Beacon Bank's 14 branches located throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, and Rockland counties, or call 888-808-4700 to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Hello and welcome back to the BCW Nonprofit Voices of Impact. We're here today with Molly Egan, CEO of Vision Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired, and Abraham Almanza, Senior Director of Marketing at Make-A-Wish Hudson Valley. Welcome back, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're talking about anniversaries. You're both celebrating significant milestones for your organizations this year. Let's talk, Molly, about the 100-year gala and anniversary that Visions is celebrating right now. Let's talk about what it took to get to where you are, 100 years.
I mean, it's so very exciting to celebrate 100 years. You only turn 100 once, and we're honoring the past, the present, and the future of Vision. So we're having a centennial gala at the New York Athletic Club on Central Park South in New York City on June 16th. And we're honoring the wonderful Harriet and Burton M. Strauss Jr. I referenced them a little bit earlier. They've been board members and supporters. It was Bert's grandmother, who was one of 6 women to start the organization in 1926.
Wow.
So we are honoring him. His mother was involved. His wife, Harriet, has been very involved. He's involved. His daughter's involved. So we're honoring them. We're honoring Jim Holland, who is a senior leader at UPS, who's been blind since he was 10. UPS as a company and Jim personally have been incredible supporters of Visions for many years. And we have a keynote speaker who is so inspiring, a best-selling author and adventurer. He's Eric Weihenmayer. And Eric, for those of you who don't know, is the first blind person to scale Mount Everest, and in fact has scaled all the major peaks of the world. And he writes a book that is aptly named No Barriers, and he will be our keynote. So we're excited about that.
Understandably, and I think the underlying message and theme here that I'm hearing over and over again is you may lose your vision, but it doesn't mean that you can't lose your purpose or your dreams or your ability to really do what you want to do.
I think that is really something that surprises, especially employers. So we at Visions are number one for more than a decade in connecting blind and visually impaired people with meaningful employment, and in New York State. And it's amazing the questions we get from prospective employers. They just don't understand all of the possibilities. A person who's blind and visually impaired can do almost anything with assistive technology and other tools. So, it's very gratifying to connect people with either being able to stay in their career or switch careers midlife if they're losing their vision. So,
I think the message there as well is give people a chance. Be open-minded and give people a chance. I can't wait to hear more about this gala after it's over. Abraham, April is World Wish Month. As we had mentioned earlier, let's talk about that significance and some of the ways the community can get involved this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have some really fun activations that are happening this month, including for those that are hungry and they're listening to this podcast during lunchtime. We have Fortina right in Rybrook and also the Armonk location. They're having a signature pie, 40 Years of Wishes pie for us, which is delicious. It's like very similar to their tenderoni pizza, but they added some soppressata for us. So that's going to be fun during this whole month of April. We also have a very unique fundraiser that is kicking off this month, but will be going on for the rest of the year. It's called Poems for a Wish fundraiser. We have a local, the Hudson Valley Arts Collective based out of Sleepy Hollow. They are a beautiful poetry and writing group of just celebration of authors, and they put together an anthology of poems in celebration of wishes, and 80% of sales of that poetry book is going to be coming to Make-A-Wish. So that's kicking off this month. And lastly, we also have Kendra Scott Jewelry, who's going to be having an in-store discount during this month of April. They're a national partner of ours, so we're really excited. So for the ladies that are looking to get something for Mother's Day, or the dads that are looking for something for their wives, now's a good time to go visit Kendra Scott and also help a local charity like us at Make-A-Wish Hudson Valley. So those are just some small examples of the many things that we have planned for the month of April. We have a really fun Wish Discovery Party that's happening on April 29th, which is World Wish Day. So what a Wish Discovery Party is when we invite families and children who have not decided what their wish is. We invite them to the office, our Wish House in Tarrytown. And what we do is we pair them up with volunteers to discover what their wish is going to be. So that's where we find out. Is it going to be a puppy? puppy? Is it going to be designing their own sneaker? Is it about going to Disney World? Is it to go on a cruise? Or is it to meet their favorite celebrity? So we find out all the favorite things, and then we start coordinating that wish to make it happen. So it's going to, what better way to celebrate World Wish Day than helping grant wishes for local families?
And it's a win-win for everyone. The opportunities are endless, and I love it. Gives communities and organizations and their employees the chance to give back. So that's terrific, and what a perfect month for you to be here. April's a month of possibilities and new beginnings. And as we were just talking, Molly, about the possibilities for a person with vision impairment, and there are so many, let's also talk a little bit about some of the challenges and how people are overcoming those challenges and what's on the horizon there.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I would say that a lot of folks don't seem to know that kind of vision loss, blindness and vision loss can be a disability magnifier. So when we talk about, for example, social isolation in older adults, if you layer on top of that blindness, vision loss, you're creating an additional barrier for folks. They're less likely to leave their homes. They're less likely to participate in social activities. They're more likely to be socially isolated. So what we try to do at Visions is educate the public about the opportunities for early intervention on vision loss. So the 4 leading causes of blindness, which are cataracts, diabetic retinopathy, macular degeneration, and glaucoma, all 4 of those things are degenerative. They happen over time. So recognizing them, getting your yearly eye exams, and intervening early with vision rehab therapy and orientation and mobility is critical for folks to stay connected and participate.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that, again, so many doctors are talking about longevity, how to stay healthy as long as possible, how to live as long as possible. And the key component there is preventative, eye exams, speaking with your internist, making sure you're staying on top of these potential issues so that if they do happen, they can be treated early and well. So thank you for reminding us of that. We are just about to say goodbye, but I would love to hear from you each one quick thing you want our listeners to know about your organizations, the most important thing right in this moment. And thank you both for sharing what you do.
Yeah, I would just like to share that one of the biggest myths that we have as an organization with Make-A-Wish is that we grant a last wish. But the reality is that we grant lasting wishes for our children and our families. It is our tagline, in a sense, where we are focused on spreading awareness on how a wish, very similar to what we just talked about with regards to conditions that are progressive, degenerative, or malignant, those are all possibilities for a child to be referred to us when they have a condition that falls under that criteria. With that said, the doctors provide the medicine, but we provide that joy and the hope during this treatment process that a child is going through. So, that gives kids a lot of strength, a lot of times to overcome those conditions and those illnesses that they're dealing with. So I would say that's probably my last thing I would like to share, is that it's a lasting wish, not a last wish. Beautifully
said. Thank you. Molly?
Well, I had something else in mind, but I'm listening to Abraham, and I think a wish for me is for us to collaborate a little bit. I have heard young children losing vision who have wishes related to their vision loss, and I'm thinking our organizations could do some closer work together. I also would just say, if you or somebody you love is experiencing vision loss, don't hesitate. Contact us. You can email us at info@visionsvcb, that's VictorCharlieBravo.org.
Thank you both, and thank you for the great work that you do.
Be sure to check out the BCW Podcast Network's expansive lineup of shows: Leadership Unleashed, What's Trending, Advocacy and Politics Unplugged, The Member Spotlight, and Nonprofit Voices of Impact. The Business Council of Westchester is the county's largest business membership organization focusing on economic development and advocacy. With over 1,100 members, it is our mission to work for the profitability of our members and the prosperity of the Westchester community. To learn more about the Business Council of Westchester, please go to thebcw.org.
The BCW Podcast Network. connect.